right. Let's put your fingerprint here. And
oh, what are you doing, Brennen?
oh, I'm getting this app ready. I heard they're overturning Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
And I got this app so that if you put your fingerprint on it, it'll let you know if you're ovulating. And also for the dudes, it'll let you know your heart rate.
So many questions.
Because, Kevin Samuels,
So many questions.
it can happen to anybody.
Are we discussing him today?
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about Kevin Samuels. We got to talk about Roe versus Wade. We got to talk about a lot of things that are happening. How are we related?
How are we related?
I got to say, happy belated birthday to you.
That's right.
Happy belated birthday to my cousin, Lauren.
That's right. R.I.P. Lauren Gerard.
Happy belated birthday
Lauren
to...
used to make me do his paper out with him. And I know that I always say this. But I had a paper out with you and with Lauren at, 18 years old? Because you fools...
How much did you get paid?
Wanted nothing. I got zero. And actually I paid because I had a car and used my gas to take you all on your paper routes in 2 different neighborhoods.
Bless your heart.
And it wasn't fair because both of Brianna and Brantley were gone to college. So who's left? Me.
And I'm blessed that car, the good old GB.
The good old GB.
The GB.
Yeah.
Our neighbor.
Yes,
Steve.
our neighbors gave us my car. My first car.
The Chevette. It was, hey, that car was a car.
It was. It was like it didn't work when I got it, and they lived right across the street, and my dad and Steve just rolled it across the street.
Just rolled it for $1.
Right.
He said, "Yeah, gotta pay you something."
Yeah. Those were the days, the 90s.
Shout out to my 3-wheel bicycle.
Yes. So Brennen got a bicycle from our grandmother, and it had a basket on the back, and that's how he did his paper route.
Hey, I was out there. I had
the thing that I always wondered is,
houses.
Your paper route wasn't in our neighborhood; it was in Carriage Hills.
Right. I put work on their block.
What? Why wasn't it in our neighborhood?
They said
did somebody already have that?
They said never sell where you live at. So I had to take work up the street.
Oh, this went left. Okay.
I'm just saying. No, so there was a monopoly on this kid in our neighborhood. He had the paper route, I think, from his brother. So it was passed down.
It was passed down to him.
To him.
Who? Do you know who they were?
I forget. He went to St. Joe.
It wasn't the Steiners?
No.
No, they did. Yeah, they didn't.
No,
do paper.
That high school. So we never grew up and knowing him. We just knew him from collecting the money. But it's like when I started my paper route, he came to the door to get money, and I was like, yeah, my dad's not here, but I know how much it costs, so I slid him a couple of dollars.
Really? Is that what you did?
And paid, the paper, the bill. You know what I'm saying? Because I had
shout out to paper routes anyway, because those don't even exist anymore.
They sure don't. There's old men that come. It's not a kid's game anymore.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's older men with vans that are just doing paper routes. It's not a child's game. That is so crazy.
Anymore. Paper routes are like cutting the grass. A neighborhood kid would come around and ask to cut the grass for $10.
A kid came and asked to cut my grass today, and
you should have let him.
I did. I didn't have no cash. I had $1.
You should have gone to get some cash, and he could have helped bring that back.
Nah, man.
That needs to come back.
First off,
I'm not even going to tell you how much we pay to get our grass back.
I was going to say, first off, it just let me know that I need to get out there and cut my grass.
Well, that let you know?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
The weeds let me know, but
I was about to say.
He picked my house out of anybody's house. I said, oh, no. I gotta get this cut.
He looked in the neighborhood like, he saw that one.
He saw me and he said, oh, I could put work on this. Let me go ahead and knock on it. He had the audacity to knock on my door. I was folding laundry.
Wow.
I had my drawers in my hand. He probably thought it was something weird happening.
Wow.
Because I was just like, hello?
Wow.
I was like, what? I was like, I'll cut your grass. I was like, nah.
You need to find out. You should have got his address and found out where he lives. And when you got some cash, you could have gone back to him and say, what's $10?
Well, I would, but...
How much was he charging, first of all?
I didn't even care because, Mother's Day just passed, and I have a broke son in the house, and he had to get a Mother's Day gift.
Okay.
And so he got her, a like a $40 gift card at the car wash because she always likes to wash her car. So he owes me a couple grass cuts.
Okay.
So I wasn't thinking about that kid paying that.
There you go.
Because I already had.
You keep it in house.
Yeah, I already had. That grass is already spoken for.
Grass?
Well, right now,
All right.
he went out with his friends last night, and this morning he's going somewhere else. But when he gets back,
you'll make sure he cuts the grass.
Make sure
Okay.
he cuts the grass next week. It'll be there for him.
All right. Send me a picture of that cut grass next week.
So let's talk about how they overturning Roe v. How is this possible? So
first of all, it wasn't a problem. It was a right-wing talking point that became, I don't even know what to say without offending any of our listeners.
I mean, just go ahead and offend, I guess.
It became a right-wing talking point that, no, I'm not going to say that. What I want to say is right here.
It's like Republican?
And my brain is telling me, don't say that, Brett. Don't say that.
I'm trying to guess because I'll say it.
No. No. I just don't think that it was an issue. It wasn't causing anyone. There hadn't been some type of mass abortions that had gone wrong. It wasn't as if the abortions had, hiked in teenagers or anything like that. It was just a talking point that they acquired judges in an effort to turn this into law. And it is absolutely ridiculous because you are not going, if you don't want an abortion, don't get an abortion. You can't sit here and tell me based on your religious views what you think is right and then put it on me, because your religion is not the only religion out there. There's Christians, there's Muslims, there's Jews, there's Catholics, Catholics are Christians, but you can't say, here I am, I'm a judge, I'm a Christian, and I'm going to tell you how to believe. You can't do that. You can suggest that to me, but you can't force that on anybody. Even God doesn't force himself on you. God requires it to be a choice. God said, if you want to serve me, please serve me, but I'm not making you serve me. And so I don't understand why man feels as if they have the right, especially a group of old white men feel like they have the right to have control over the bodies of every single woman in this country. They have never been a woman. They will never be a woman. They have never had a uterus. They don't know what it's like to bleed. They don't know what it's like to be suffering when you're pregnant and almost have to make a choice between do I abort this baby or do I save my life? They don't know those things, but they're yet and still making rules about my body. And I cannot take it. It's like a pet peeve of mine. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what to do with my uterus? You don't know what goes on in there. You don't know the pain. You don't know anything about anything. You just know what you believe. And then you're pushing that on other people. And I think it's some BS.
Yeah, I let you cook because I don't know. I have no idea.
Right.
But,
thank you. You made the right choice, brother.
But I would like to give you this tinfoil hat. Mm-hmm. And I would like to let you walk you into this conspiracy theory that I definitely have.
Again.
Let me put on my tinfoil hat myself because they're listening.
Okay.
There's it's not a rumor, but it's a guesstimation, a hypothesis, if you will, that says in the year 2060,
if we're all still here.
the most of the population is going to be other. The main population is going to be other, and the Caucasian is going to be, not in the main. Somebody from the other population is going to take over the main the main population in America.
Okay.
So what they're seeing is
they're seeing what they did to the Native Americans that were here originally.
What they're seeing
because they were the main population before they decided to come over.
And self-preservation is it's human nature. So if you can just think about it, what is the population of young, disenfranchised, white 18-year-olds that vote versus the population of young, disenfranchised of others 18 that vote? And I
don't know, but what does that have to do with it?
And I bet you that the disenfranchised 18-year-old whites still vote and the others don't.
Well, I don't know if that's true, because even if they do vote, it's not like everybody is voting right, and it's not like everybody is voting left.
But if you're aborting, if you're letting people abort babies in the South, this is my thought.
Okay.
Nobody's else thought. Let's go in the South. Let a baby be born in the South, and then that baby grows up, disenfranchised and white. That baby's going to vote because that baby's like, I saw my mom struggle, I saw everybody struggle, my uncles voted, then nothing happened, but my dad voted, nothing happened, but I saw people voting, so I go to vote, and then here comes this man Trump, and boom, he makes things happen for us. So now I'm really about to vote. Now I'm really encouraged to vote.
Well, I think there's a flaw already in that theory, because he didn't make anything happen for them.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't make anything happen, but he made it seem like it was. So
I don't think that everybody. I don't think that our upcoming generation is as stupid as those folks who voted for him.
He got the votes of those people in a way, and he talked in a way to talk to them, to get them out to vote.
He did, but that's not true. He made things better for rich people. He did not make things better for the people that you are talking about.
Right.
And it may take a couple cycles, but they're going to realize I am in no better position than I was however many years ago than he was.
But he was talking that talk.
He was, but actions are going to speak louder than any words that he ever spoke, and they're going to soon realize he is not for them. He is not for them. And Dave Chappelle said it best when he was talking, and he said, did you see this? Mm-hmm. When he said he was in the DMV or something, and he was talking, I think he was in Ohio, and there were some people in line, and he was like, I'm voting for Trump because he's for the people. He's for people like me, blah, blah, blah. So Chappelle turned around and he said, he's for people like me. I'm rich. You are not rich. He is not for people like you. He's not going to make anything in your life better.
That's the hoodwink. It keeps.
Well, he'll be just like any hoodwink. It will be found out.
It keeps voting a certain way. It keeps old ways to keep on going.
Well, the one thing I will give you on that is all we need is judges to enact law. And if those people keep voting, they're going to keep voting Republican or right-leaning judges in to enact those laws that help rich people, and that's really the point of all of this. Mm-hmm. It's not about who's president. And I don't understand, and I've said this over and over and over again, the president really doesn't have as much power as we feel like he has. You need to be a senator. You need to be in the House of Representatives. You need to be really a lobbyist. Those are the people who have the power.
So if they overturn Roe versus Wade, the president can't just be like, no, you can't do that. He can't.
It's a Supreme Court decision.
Right. He doesn't have the power to say no.
But who has the power, like what we just went through this past week, is codifying Roe v. Wade. Meaning, and do you know what codify means? That means that you set a certain code or a certain way that things are done. And that just means that that's how it is, regardless of what whomever says it. That's just how things are done. So they voted to codify it, and that didn't pass, which we didn't expect it to pass because you needed 60 votes for it to pass, and we didn't have the votes. So we would need all 50 of our senators plus 10. So obviously it didn't pass. And then stupid Joe Manchin, who really, we need to stop calling him a Democrat. We really do, because he is not. Anyway, I feel like I'm going on a rampage about this.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Roe versus Wade.
I know. I'm just so angry about it. It makes me so angry that the people do not have power. Everybody who is sitting up there in these roles and these situations, people did not put them in there. Lobbyists did. Companies put them in there. Familial relationships put them in there. It's not like they are representing the will of the people. 70%, I think, of America does not want Roe versus Wade to fail. 70% of America want that statute to remain in place, but somehow the Supreme Court votes to shut it down. And do you know why? Because when Donald Trump was in there, we had lobbyists and senators, specifically the Senate minority leaders, who lobbied or picked these judges specifically on their feelings about Roe versus Wade. So it's not even who these people represent, it's about their personal feeling. It's not about what the country wants, it's about their personal feelings in regards to Roe versus Wade, and that is some BS. There's no rules, there's no moral code in the Supreme Court. They don't have a code of conduct or anything like that, which leads us into Jenny Thomas, her whole situation. It's all a mess. I'm sorry.
Who is Jenny Thomas?
Jenny Thomas is Justice Thomas's, Clarence Thomas's wife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm off topic. I just get hyped up about this.
Explain to me what Roe versus Wade is.
Basically, it makes it a federal law that abortion is federal law. You are free to have an abortion under certain circumstances, under certain rules. You are free to do it. No questions asked. Now, the questions asked are, or the questions you should be asking yourself are, is it safe for the mother? Is it safe for the baby? Blah, blah, blah. Or no questions asked could be, I'm just not ready to be a mom yet. And then you are free to go to your Planned Parenthood or your doctor's office or whatever and be able to have an abortion. Roe versus Wade, basically, it wouldn't say that you can't do it. It says that we're putting that back on the states. So at this point, it's not, Indiana says that they don't want an abortion, you can't have an abortion, whatever, they don't say that, but they just put the ruling on the states. But what some states are doing to go around that are what we saw a couple months ago, and I don't remember what state it was, probably Florida.
Texas.
Or Texas, because those are just like the freaking mess right now in the United States. They're saying, okay, so we're going to say you can't have an abortion. And nobody can drive you to get an abortion. They can't drive you out of state. You can't get an Uber. You can't have a friend take you. You can't do any of these things because we're going to prosecute those people too. Even though those people did not have the abortion, they aided and abetted in you getting that abortion. So we are going to prosecute that people too. So they're just making it harder for women to live.
So are they going to stop selling the morning after pill?
That's something that's coming under attack also. And like I said, this has nothing to do with my personal feelings on abortion. I don't think that it would ever be the right decision for me. I don't think it's something, even the way that we grew up, I don't think that that's something that I would ever do, that I ever could do. I just have feelings about it. But I'm not going to go and say, Mary Jane, you can't do it because I don't think it's right. I would never say that to someone. I don't know Mary Jane's situation. I don't know what she's gone through, what she's going through, what she's ready for. And she has to stand in judgment of that to whomever her God is. It's not for me to go to her and say, I don't believe this, so you shouldn't do it. That is some BS, and that's not even what God intended for his people.
I don't know. I know. Well, I shouldn't say I don't know. I know that it's a woman's choice, and that's how I feel. But I just feel like every man should like YouTube, like not I don't know if you can get a hold of seeing what it takes for a woman to have an abortion, and that's some birth control right there. It's just like, oh my, like it's just not a simple process. So it's like it I understand why a woman comes out of that angry. And it's like, oh my goodness, that was violating.
You were violated, and then you violated another human being, and it's horrible. But you know what Congress didn't do?
What's that?
They increased the money that they're giving to these pharmaceutical companies for the little blue pill.
Oh man, so that's what I'm saying. They're trying to make it so that these older men can still impregnate these younger girls and raise up little voters to vote for the way that they vote.
There's no we don't want abortions. We're gonna say nobody can get an abortion, but you're still not giving me any social services to go along with that. Who's gonna take care of these kids once they have them? The mother obviously already felt like they weren't ready or prepared to handle them. So are you going to now, since you told this little girl that she has to have this child, are you going to help her? Are you going to give her any type of education? Are you going to give her social services? Are you going to do anything about daycare? Daycare is like a hot topic. Daycare should be free. If you're requiring people to work, if you're not going to pay them a good wage, but then you're going to make them have these children that they're clearly not ready or prepared for, how do you expect anybody to rise above the lower class unless you already born into it? It's just, America is just effed up in so many ways. The ideology of what they originally stood for, and I put an asterisk by that because it really wasn't for me. It wasn't for you either, brother. It wasn't for any of us.
Oh,
but
my country tisn't.
No, it isn't. They weren't talking to you.
But was it my sweet land?
They were not talking to you.
Oh.
They were not.
The prophet, Young Thug.
Sorry, I know Brennen's moving on because I'm going into.
Well, no, he's saying the same thing that you're saying. He's saying, to circumvent all of that. He's saying that if you're broke, you shouldn't have kids. He's like, broke people shouldn't. He said that broke people should not have children. And he's like, why bring a kid into this world poor? Now he's going to come and rob me.
Well, I think that's a completely different situation.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Young Thug's got bigger situations to handle. I don't even know who
Young Thug is.
Oh, Young Thug.
But I don't think that you should not have a child because you're poor. It doesn't mean that you can't take care of them because you don't have money.
Well, Young Thug has a lot of kids, but Young Thug also has he started a group, a young males group of street life, Young Slime Life it's called. And it started off as a conglomerate of 3, and he became a rapper. And apparently, they, do things in the street that the government don't appreciate, but hide it under this Young Slime Life record label. So
are they old school money laundering?
I don't know if it's money laundering, but it has everything to do with racketeering. And murder, a lot of things are happening in the Young Slime Life. So basically, Young Thug got indicted and picked up because his Young Slime Life record label / they called it a gang. Everybody in the gang got picked up, and under the RICO Act. So
what's RICO?
Basically, the RICO Act means that if I told you to do a murder. And the government finds out that you did the murder, but they find out that I told you to do the murder, and I told you to do the murder under the syndicate of like a family, like you work for me and I have many workers. Not only me and you are going to jail, anybody who they can find that claimed affiliated to the group will go to jail also.
For what?
So that's how they take out the mafia. So say a snitch
Is that a law?
It's the RICO.
But what if I'm like at Disney World with my family and I wasn't at this meeting and I didn't approve that this murder happened? You were a part of the RICO. You know about you were a part of the group that knew about murders. Oh.
So you're gonna have to
You're
gonna have to sing. You're gonna have to be like, oh, I don't know about those murders, blah 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 blah. Like you're gonna have to act like you don't know anything, or tell that you don't know anything, and you'll be okay. But normally, they take everybody and they make the kingpin basically. They put pressure on the kingpin to take the weight or let everybody take the weight.
Okay.
So, anyways, they got him under this RICO Act. So his main number one artist, Gunna, was told that he was in danger, to get picked up, and he was like, "Why am I getting picked up? I'm just an artist." And they were just like, "You claimed Young Slime life on a song, and we have lyrics that you talk about. You got hundreds of thousands of choppers, and you're claiming a slat pendant and a YSL pendant. The slat is like the language that they use, and the YSL is the Young Slime life. So they have enough evidence, I guess, off of his lyrics to indict him." Then
So wait. So you're claiming that you have hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then all you own is a pendant?
He says, "I got hundreds of thousands of choppers."
Obviously that's a lie.
Yeah, I mean,
Choppers mean like helicopters?
guns.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
When did a gun become a chopper?
Oh man, do you know? So Brett, let me just run through what a gun is. A gun is a chopper. Okay. A gun is so the old term is for an Uzi was called a oo-wop.
Okay.
Now the term if for a handgun is a stick. If you have a AK-47 mini, that is called a Draco. So when you hear people like, "I got the Draco," they're not talking about Drake. They're talking about a gun.
I would have never known all this.
Young Thug calls his guns dicks. So he's like, I'll pull my dick out.
Oh my God.
So it's like
So I have a question on behalf of myself, your sister, and the ancestors.
Okay.
How do you know this?
I listen to a lot of music.
Okay.
So I just because I heard him say
Grandma Austin was like wondering, as was our mother.
it's sign language in the music. So it's coded music. So you got to listen. You got to know the lingo. You got to know if somebody was like, "Man, I walked into this party and this motherfucker had his dick out," but it's like I understand that he didn't really have his penis out. He had his gun out because he was like, "I'm about." And the next words explained it because he was like, "I'm about to shoot everybody." I'm not thinking he was pulling his dick out about to shoot everybody. He pulled his gun out.
How are we related, everybody? How are we related?
So, anyways, Young Thug is going through it. So he's basically his house got raided after he got raided. They found lean Uzis, oo-wops. Silencers, different pistols, weed, intent to distribute. So he basically had a bunch of weed, and since he had the bunch of weed with the guns, they put the charge of intent to distribute. But that was his probably personal weed because he's a superstar. So it's like, yeah, a superstar is not going to have a bag of weed. He's going to have gigantic bags, multiple bags of weed for him and his crew. So they found, I think, lean, that promethazine. And so my question is, do you think it's fair that they are using rap lyrics to indict people?
No.
Yeah, most of the hip hop community doesn't feel that.
No, I don't think that's. I mean, most of those rappers are not as hard as they profess to be in their lyrics. People should know that, and I think it's. I don't know. I think it's a stupid.
One thing that goes against Young Thug.
Like I said this because it rhymed, not because I really.
One thing that goes against Young Thug is when he was coming up, like even Waka Flocka said it, like people were like, "Oh, Young Thug wears dresses. Young Thug acts weird. Young Thug talks homosexual." And Waka Flocka said, "Don't you ever think that Young Thug is sweet anyway? Young Thug is a like basically pussy." because he's like, Young Thug is a live action like superhero in the streets. Like that's what Waka Flocka said about him. He's like, this is before all the fame. He's like, Young Thug is an animal in the streets. He's just playing nice with the dresses and all that stuff. He later came out to say that he wore a dress because it hit his gun, and that's why he wore a dress. It's like he is a certified weirdo, but
oh my God.
But I mean, he is also a certified like street legend. Apparently, like he held down Atlanta spots, and he's well known in the streets of Atlanta for more than just rap. So that kind of goes against him, because what they're saying is pretty much true. He's a tough guy, and he's a guy that they won off the streets, but he's not that anymore. He's like, and I feel like they just bringing up a case, and now he's at his height. He's doing good things. He went and just woke up one day and bailed 20 people out of Fulton County Jail. Oh. And just like, because he just wanted to, he got bail bondsmen and people who just couldn't pay their bail. He just went and paid their bail. And it's like, he does stuff in the hood like that. And it's like, he's not that gremlin that, you guys are portraying him to be, but I guess you got to pay for your sins.
Portray himself to be that?
In his music, not anymore. Okay. In his music, So
maybe he should change his name.
I mean, yeah.
If he's trying to beat a RICO charge.
Yeah, well,
maybe he should change his name.
You're definitely going to see him in some glasses and some suits and some, he's going to have his.
What's Young Thug's real name? I'm about to make up a name for him.
Jeffrey Atkins.
Jeffrey? Mm-hmm. Oh, this pen doesn't work. Okay. By the end of the episode, I'm going to have a new name for Young Thug. We can submit it to him.
I mean, Jeffrey Atkins is a great name.
Well, I was going to say we need to spell it with a G.
Yeah.
G-E-O.
G-E-O-F-F-R-E-Y. Jeffrey, and then we need to give him a distinguished middle name. I think it's Atkins. Hold on, let me see.
Jeffrey.
Bartholomew.
Well, not Bartholomew, because then that's too obvious. Like Jeffrey Collin Atkins.
Jeffrey.
That's what. Already, it didn't even take to the end of the episode. Jeffrey Collin Atkins.
Is Young Thug's new name.
Watch him get off.
Excuse me, Jeffrey Williams, but now it's Jeffrey Atkins.
Oh, well, it's Colin. He needs to throw a good middle name.
Well, his real name is Lamar. Lamar is going to get you prosecuted. Lamar definitely gets you prosecuted. Lamar is not going to help.
Yep,
he's not going to last 3 days in court.
While he's in there, he needs to go and submit a name change to Jeffrey with the G. Yeah. Colin.
Because his name is definitely Jeffrey with a J.
I know. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Needs a G.
So
it's a good British G. That's a good British name to spell Jeffrey.
Could it have maybe an accent over it or something?
It always helps.
I was going to say that.
It always. Where should we throw the accent at?
Maybe just right, like when the G starts, just throw a line right there.
All right, right here.
Like, that looks professional.
Isn't it?
That looks like he's going to get off.
We're going to submit this to him.
Collin.
He needs to go through a name change process. Mm-hmm. Throw that Colin in there because, judges love Collins. And then,
So keep the last name Williams or change it to Atkins also?
Well, Atkins is real black too.
So Williams is universal though.
Williams is universal, but we need something else. Let's see. I don't know.
You got to work on it.
I will work on it. Let's move on.
We got a good base, though. We got a good base.
Jeffrey with the apostrophe and a G. Okay.
So you know what else is happening in Atlanta?
What's going on?
Oh, they lost a legend in Atlanta.
They lost a legend?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Kevin Samuels.
Oh, God. Please, don't even. What? Are we going to sit here and defend Kevin Samuels?
I'm not defending Kevin Samuels.
Oh, God, thank you.
All I'm saying is...
It's about to be like end of episode.
All I'm saying is Kevin Samuels wanted people to be better.
He didn't. Do better. He wanted to talk bad about black women.
He didn't want... He talked bad about black men, too. He talked about... He was like, men...
He was really stuck on black women.
So what's funny is hilarious. He always talked about women being nurses. Always talk... I bet you a nurse, huh? Blah, 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 blah. And he died in the hands of a nurse.
Oh, she was a nurse?
She was a nurse, and she tried to revive him.
First, who was she?
She was a nurse.
Okay, but who was she to him?
Oh, she was a one-night stand.
Really?
Yeah. So he picked her up, and
all that talking he does, and he.
So what he did? No, he picked her up at a bar, and then they went up and they had sex, and then he complained the next morning about chest pains, and I don't know if he went back in, to her, but he ended up falling on her somehow. So then he passed out. She tried to do CPR and revive him, and then he ended up, at the hospital, and he basically was unconscious, so they could have kept him alive, but it would have just been a vegetable.
So did he have a heart attack, or how did he die?
Basically. And it was like a heart attack or something.
So quite honestly, I had to do my research on this guy because I had never heard of him until before he died. Mm-hmm. Like ever. He never came across my news feed. I guess he's just not in my...
live in a ratchet community. Oh. Only ratchet people share the stuff because they're offended. A hit dog is going to holler. Oh. So I used to always tell people like that got upset about it, is like, you're perpetuating his message because you're mad about it. So his last thing that he said, if you're over 35 and a woman, you're a leftover woman and not married. If you're over 35 and not married, you're a leftover woman. And he just said that. And
what did he mean by that?
I didn't go into it. I didn't look.
Not that you've had career goals ever since you graduated from college, and you've been working your way up at your Fortune 500 company, and you haven't had time to deal with any man's bullshit.
And you're a leftover woman to men who want to marry. Okay. So it's like, so what happens is, I only see clips of women in the worst scenario, and I'm like, that's not mean. So I don't see the girls that are saying something like. So I see the women that they call up and like, I got 2 kids and I want a man making.
Oh, so he had a call-in show?
Yeah, a call-in show on YouTube or something. He taped it and then showed it on YouTube, and he showed the people calling, like they video chatted with him, and so he would ask them, how tall are you? What's your size? And so they'd be like, oh, I'm 5'5", and I'm like 160 pounds or whatever. And so he was like, and you got, 2 kids? And he's like, so, then he would go into the average weight and the average height of, Americans. And it's like, what would a man with making $200,000 want with you? You already have 2 kids by 2 other men. So it's like, what can you bring to the table? And she'd be like, oh, I'm a good person. I'm a cook. I can blah, blah, blah. I can help him, plan for his day. He's like, he doesn't need you for that. He's making all that money. It's like, he basically made men that they wanted to seem like they were just ruthless, and they wanted young 25-year-olds to just pipe down and just be quiet in the background. He always made it seem that if a man is making a certain amount of money, he doesn't want a strong woman that has experience in his background. So that's where I found to be funny of his advice. He always just thought that, oh, if a man is making $200,000, you have no worth of him because you already have kids. So it's like he's going to have to take care of your kids, and then you're going to try to give him more kids. And it's like, he doesn't want that. He can find a girl to start new with. And I was like, that's not always the case. I was like,
it's not the case.
I was like, you're making like men that are well off seem like they're like cruel. And he was like, no, he'll date you, he'll have sex with you, but he won't commit to you. And that's what their problem was. They were like, well, I just can't find a man to like treat me seriously. Like, I go on dates and I'm pretty and all that, but when it gets time for them to like commit to me, it's like they go ghost. And he was like, well, yeah, because you got all that extra baggage, and he found somebody who doesn't have that baggage. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but you're making it seem like every guy is that way. You're making it seem that girl can't find love in that tax bracket. And it's like that, it's going to be harder. But I felt him when he was like, what's wrong with the guy that manages, the Foot Locker? And he's like, that likes you and is always asking you out on dates, but it doesn't make that $200,000. He makes maybe $80,000, but that's even more than what you make. But you still won't go and date him. And then he started going in on her because he was like, you got to be realistic. It's like, that man likes you, and he likes that you have kids, and he wants to date you, but he doesn't have that kind of job that you like. and so you won't, give him the time of day. And that's the stuff that I saw of him. So I was like, man, he was just trying to make her be realistic, like shoot for the stars, but
so she can't have dreams.
She can have dreams. That's what I'm saying. That's when I made that post. I was like, I'm not trying to kill anybody's dreams, but you got to be realistic once you're, at a certain age. Like when I turned 22, I knew that I was not going to play professional baseball. Like that's when I realized, and it wasn't because it's like because I hadn't, it was a lot of reasons, but it wasn't like, I knew because I wasn't, at a big school. I wasn't in the minor leagues. I knew because I was like, I can't hit a curveball at all.
Wait, but listen, why 22 though? You didn't even play in college.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it was like at 22, I knew it was for sure done. Like I knew I need to stop dreaming that I'm going to make, that was my dream. I was like, I want to be in the major league. At 22, I'm like, I couldn't hit a curveball in high school. I should have stopped dreaming in high school. Like that was a silly dream of mine. So it's like when you continue to dream without, actions, and these women are putting in actions, but it's like they're getting the same results. It's like, yeah, because maybe these men are just not into you. Maybe these men that you're finding are not into you, and it's going to be harder for you to find that kind of guy because that kind of guy is special. So you got to go through these, bad guys, but maybe the guy that is for you is not in that bracket.
Maybe not, but at any rate, R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. Goodbye. I am not trying to more. The thing that was difficult about him was like you really didn't find anybody who said anything really nice about him after he died. And didn't they do a GoFundMe for his funeral?
I don't know.
I heard that. I don't know if it's true or not, so don't.
I mean, you got to honor the man. The man, it was successful.
I do not have to.
No. Nope. So I don't like what Rush Limbaugh said. I don't like how
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, I don't like how Rush Limbaugh came off. But I have to respect that Rush Limbaugh spoke truth to somebody, and somebody felt like what he said was like
a lie. Rush Limbaugh was a liar. Right. He was a right-wing hack liar.
But he galvanized.
I will never,
he galvanized people.
Ever. If he was the one who went up and said to Barack Obama, "I hope you fail." He's horrible.
Hey, that was motivation. It took a Rush Limbaugh to help.
But I will never give him any props.
So that's
for anything.
what I'm saying. So when women hear this Kevin Samuel, when women hear this Kevin Samuel, and they're like, "Well, no, I can do that." That's motivation. They're like, "No." He's talking to that woman.
Okay, so he's out there motivating y'all. He's out there motivating all of y'all who are supposed to be his haters. Let's move on from him because that's making me mad. It's over for this topic.
Well, I have another topic that I heard on the radio.
Okay.
You'll probably not like this topic either.
No.
A wife is a dominatrix.
This is the most How Are We Related episode of all How Are We Related episodes.
A wife is a dominatrix, and she introduces pegging to her husband.
What is pegging? Brennan, where do you find this stuff? What is this?
This is on the radio. So pegging is pegging is wild Bruno. So pegging is when a woman puts the strap on and pegs the man.
Like pegs him where? In his butt?
In his butthole. In his butthole.
What?
So
it's called pegging?
It's called pegging.
Okay.
So she introduced it to her husband. The husband was very resistant, did not like it.
Of course. Wouldn't you be?
Definitely.
Okay.
But was like, hey, if you want this relationship, they're married. So he's like, it's in the marriage, and this is what you like, I'll do it. So he starts doing it. So, they start doing it or whatever, a couple times. Then when she starts to do it, like, this 8th time, she notices that he's tooting his booty up and, like, ready for it, then likes it. And now she's like, she called the radio station saying, I don't want to do it no more. Mm-hmm. But he likes it so much that I can't tell him that I don't want to do it anymore. Is she wrong for putting him onto a fetish that she, that now that he likes? Because she said, my whole intention was I wanted to turn him out. So now that she's turned him out, she doesn't want to do it no more.
Okay.
Is she wrong?
No.
I mean,
no means no.
No means no. No,
if I don't care.
I will not peg you.
I don't care if I said I wanted to. Now I don't. Period.
But now he's feeling like, so then DJ Envy said, hey, what one person won't do to somebody's butt, another person will.
Well, I
so
mean, true that. However.
So now you're in jeopardy of him out here trying to get pegged by mysterious people. Because now, like, he didn't know nothing about that peg life. And now he's just out here doing strange things.
So I'm just supposed to keep doing it because you like it.
Because you introduced it to me.
Okay, now I don't want to do it anymore.
Now you don't want to do it?
No.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting conversation.
No, it's not. I don't want to do it anymore. How about that?
Oh, man.
I don't see what the problem is.
Oh, man. That is horrible.
The
Kendrick Lamar CD came out.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw the video, circa 90 whatever, old school Michael Jackson, black and white.
Yes, so what he did was, if you listen to the lyrics of what he's saying, every time the face changed, it goes with the lyrics.
Well, I understood the Nipsey Hussle one. All the other ones I could not get.
So when he was talking about... when he had Kanye's face, he was talking about bipolar.
Nonsense, probably.
He had something saying about bipolar. When he had OJ's face up, it went with what he says. So it's like you got to watch it and think of their situation.
I'll have to relook at it. So what was the Kobe one and the Will Smith one?
The Will Smith one was when he was talking about like fame and how it affects you.
Okay.
And I forget what the Kobe one was, but like I said, that is very important. How you have to listen to Kendrick Lamar, because you can listen to Kendrick Lamar with the naked ear and the tune might pick up, but he's coding lyrics and saying something in everything that he does. With this new CD, I feel like it's like a play. And I don't know, this is my thought, my conspiracy of this, my synopsis review of this Kendrick Lamar. Okay. But I feel like it's a play.
Give it to us.
The first CD is broken up into 2 CDs.
Wait, how many CDs does he have so I can get my mind right for all this? How many albums?
Total does he have?
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to have like 10 albums, but I have to listen to all this because I didn't really want to.
So there's Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, and then this one.
Okay.
So the first CD is like him talking about, like, just not him talking about, but rapping about life and as a male, going through life as a male and the different things that he has to go through. And there's a song where an interlude where he lets Kodak Black rap and basically give poetry over a beat that is like an African tribal beat. But I feel like that symbolizes like how he's going to reach to the young people. Like Kodak Black is the symbolism of young people. So that's the young male that he's talking about. He is Kodak Black. And then the second CD comes the end of the CD, he's talking about he's arguing with his girl. Throughout the CD, they talk about they need to go through therapy. He needs to go through therapy. He has a very intricate song about when he's rapping with his girl and they're arguing back and forth, and then they end up making love after arguing, talking about they hate each other. So like then the CD ends with a song called Purple Heart, and I feel like that symbolizes, what the man goes through, like he deserves a purple heart. So then the second CD, I feel like it's his therapy, and it's talking about how he's dealing with all those things. And it goes as far as to let Baby Keem, his cousin, who he's rapping now, talk about his struggles and like seeing his like, have you ever seen your uncle steal from you after Christmas? Your mom smoke rocks right in front of you, doing all this horrible thing. So like it's therapy, like talking about all this stuff. Then he has another song talking about my auntie is a man now, talking about transgenders, and how he feels about watching his aunt grow up as a male. Like, she had a hat on backwards, knew hip hop. She introduced him to writing raps, so she was a big part of his life. And then at the end, it's just like, I feel like I said, it's a play. It can be acted out, and it's like the first scene is about him being a man. The second scene is about him going through therapy and just working through all of his stuff. And then he talks about how, like, his mom, he got something happened with his cousin. He touched him, and his mom didn't believe him. He said that it didn't happen, but then he found out that his mom didn't believe him because his mom got touched back in the day, and so she was like, it was pain that had been transferred, and it's like he found all that out through the therapy of that second album, and then it ends. So it's like, you got to listen to it a certain way. So if you listen to it as that's the way I talked about it, as like how he's going through life, and then the second CD he's getting therapy for the life he lived, it'll make even more sense. Or you could just listen to it and just judge it off of just the beats that and the raps that he has, because you can still listen to it like that and it's still good. But that's my review on that. Kendrick
Lamar, people love him.
And Megan Thee Stallion didn't get shot by Tory Lanez.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't hear about that. But how did we find out?
A doctor came out and said that there was glass in her foot. There was no bullet fragments.
So why did she say there was a bullet fragment?
I don't know. She probably got shot at, but she did not get shot. So she probably got shot at.
But she had to know when they took it out that it wasn't a bullet fragment, that it was glass, right?
It sounds better.
So why would she say?
Sounds better.
So we need to say that she got shot at, not that she got shot.
Yeah, she got shot at. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically. And then she went on Gail and talked about, did you have relations with Tory Lanez? She goes, no. Everybody was like, all right, nope. I don't believe a word she's saying after that.
Well, she was like, he slept with her and her best friend, right?
Yeah.
And we know that because why?
Because he said that.
Okay. So we're believing him and not her.
We're believing him.
Got it.
We're believing him.
No, thank you.
No. We're believing her, him, and not her. Because the girlfriend confirmed it also. The girlfriend confirmed I was sleeping with him. And she got mad.
But it didn't confirm that she was sleeping with him. That Megan was sleeping with him.
Yes. The girlfriend confirmed that she was sleeping with him also. The girlfriend confirmed she was sleeping with him first, then I started sleeping with her. She found out that I started sleeping with her. She got mad.
He's not even cute. Yeah. I don't even know why we're arguing with this guy.
You getting shot at by a man with a receding hairline. Like, get your life together.
Yeah, right. What are you doing?
So let me ask you this question on how are we related.
All right.
I like to look at Facebook posts.
Let's get it.
And my guy posted saying, if a pastor knows you're living a life of sin and lets you minister on the altar and work and on the worship team, he cares more about your gift than your soul. What do you think?
I do not disagree. I don't know. I think it's a two-edged sword with this topic, because I think that sometimes in doing those things, it leads you to Christ or leads you to a better life. So you cannot just say, I don't want you to sing in my choir because you are not all the way right. Now, I have a different opinion about the ministry. I don't think you should be ministering to people when they're not all the way right. But I don't think that you should not let people sing, because that could bring them to where they need to be.
So if you play drums, because it's always the drummer. If you play drums,
it's always the drummer.
And you fathered a bunch of kids that you're not married to the wife. Mm-hmm. You are known for going out partying because you're a drummer, and you play in a band. Mm-hmm. But the church, you're good. You've been raised in the church, so you play drums at the church, and everybody in the church knows your life outside of church. Mm-hmm. Should they still let you play drums at the church?
I think all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. I believe that everybody needs an opportunity to do whatever it is they can in the moment that they're in to glorify or praise God. Whatever it is that's going to bring them closer to to him, they should be able to do. I don't think you should be up there preaching, but I think if this is a gift, if this is a talent that you also want to share and could also in that environment, because you're in there, you're playing the drums, you're going to hear the message, you're going to hear testimony service, you're going to hear you're going to be in that environment, and why shun them from hearing that word?
And you have to deal, as a pastor, to make that decision, you have to deal with rumors. So it's like, unless you can bring me something concrete, I can't.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go on an investigation trip to.
I can't say what this man is doing outside the church. I just know he has a gift of God, and he's allowing it to shine at church.
I agree.
Somebody else is hearing that gift. And I hope he gets his life right, but it's like I can't unless you can tell me exactly and show me exactly what he's doing that deserves him to get kicked out. I can't, kick him out. Now, what I do have a problem with is pastors bringing that atmosphere into church knowingly. So it's like when you hear the praise service and the pastor looks at the usher, or not the usher, the pastor looks at the organist and gives him the nod, and then you hear the bass line and the tone of "In the Club" from 50 Cent, while the praise team is going on, and you hear doom 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 doom, and it's like, wait a minute, it's like I know that. Hold up, wait a minute.
I was at the club last night too.
It's just like, go shorty, it's your birthday. I know what you talk. Like No, I don't feel like.
So you just want them to be original.
No, I don't think that Jesus needs any sauce. Like, when pastors try to put sauce on God, I feel like God is to be taken plain. God is to be, God is the medicine that doesn't need even water. You just take it.
But I think, I hear you, and I think that you have that opinion because of the way that you grew up. And a lot of people, it's going to take some sauce to get them in there. It's going to take some sauce to keep them in the seat.
And then it's like
then you should learn. Then you get hooked on sauce. You do, but you have also then heard the true word of God. And you can differentiate at that point what is true and what is sauce.
People saying put sugar in the medicine.
Yeah.
Put a little sugar in the medicine to keep, to keep the kids. But it's like then the kids get hooked on sugar, and these kids now know how to cut, so they'll cut everything out and just take the sugar.
But listen, are you getting better? Because you also get the medicine.
That's what I'm saying. They're cutting the medicine out and only coming to church just so they can hear that tune and be like,
yes,
and then they're going back right out into the world and doing whatever.
But in the meantime, they're hearing a message. They're hearing a testimony service. They're watching. No, listen. They're watching how people behave. They're watching people like our mother and our grandmother and their faith. They're in witness of it. They're in that environment. So I don't think that you should discredit it. I think that you need to come as you are, take people as they are, and hopefully they get out of it what they need to get out of it.
Well, like I said, I just don't feel like God needs any sauce, and I just don't like it.
Okay, I've got a new name, a new last name for you.
Yes,
McGregor.
Oh, Jeffrey Collins McGregor is definitely getting off. Jeffrey Collins McGregor definitely didn't do any crimes.
No, he's Irish.
He's Irish.
He's a hardworking Irish man. He's trying to make it in the new world.
In the new world.
Yep.
God bless Jeffrey Collins McGregor. Free Jeffrey Collins McGregor.
Free Jeffrey Collins McGregor.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
How are we related? Playing with this man's life.
No. But really, Young Thug, go change your name.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Shout out to Jeffrey Williams. I hope I hope it works out for you. This is How Are We Related. I am Brennen J.
I'm Brett Janelle.
We are out.
Later.